seperti kita tahu bahawa kenapa kita kena buat search strategy. Search strategy ni untuk kita sebenarnya bagi kita untuk okey, sila izinkan saya bertutur dalam bahasa Melayu dengan bahasa Inggeris sebab saya punya processor low sikit sebab kena shift between Melayu dengan Inggeris ya. So, okay, as we know that this search strategy is for the researchers and other evidence synthesis. So, when we do search, normally we need to look into the comprehensiveness and to maintain relevancy. In other words, means we have to strive between the deep and how deep that we do our search and how broad our topic is. So we need to strike a balance between this. So, okay, before we do any searching, definitely we have to look into scoping search. This is normally specifically for the reviewers. The reviewers need to look into the relevance of the topic, whether others already doing this, what kind of articles or evidence already available online. So in order for this, before we begin any search before we plan for any search strategy, we should start with the scoping search. So the purpose of this scoping search is to assess the size of the literature, and then it's also provide advice on approaches and the problems and strategies. And this is helping us into formulating our research question, and next to formulate our PICO tables, and then for us to identify how deep or how broad our search should be, and how deep or how broad our topic should be. So in MATAS, we actually propose this 6 step. I think most of the IS and the reviewers already familiar with our steps in the systematic search. So I will go through very fast, step by step, how this systematic search is being done in MATAS. So first, we have to structure the review question. Okay, as we always know, rubbish in, rubbish out. If we are formulating a poor questions, we will having a poor review. Okay, so well-formulated questions will guide many aspects of the review process. We define our studies, the inclusions and the exclusion criteria. We also determine the appropriate search strategy to be used. And in order for us to build a well question, we should include this 4 part, which is the PICO. I think all of you already familiar with what PICO is, but somehow I will still go through very fast. So P stands for population. We have to know who is our population, who is our target patient, and what is our problem. So what kind of conditions also we can include in this. So for this example, is infliximab more effective compared to methotrexate in treating patients with RA? So that very obvious, the P is actually the patients with the RA. Okay. Then I, what kind of intervention or what kind of new technologies that we want to look into? And then when we look into this new technology or new interventions, is it a specific diagnosis test? Is it a treatment? Is it adjuvant? Is it a procedure? And other than that, we have to very clear about is this interventions diffusion or to ganti or to just as an adjuvant as well. So in this question, the I will be methotrexate. Sorry, is infliximab, which is a new drugs compared to the old drugs. Then next we come to the comparison. Okay, the comparisons will be whatever you want to comparing with. Normally, what we do is we compare with the current or the conventional treatment that we have. Okay, for this question, infliximab we want to compare with the conventional way, which is methotrexate in treating the patient. Okay, and definitely when we have our targeted patients, when we have our interventions and we have our comparator, we are looking into what kind of output or outcome that we are referring to. How should we measure the interventions? So okay, apa outcome yang kita look into for this particular question, our outcome is definitely to look into the effectiveness of infliximab or okay, how effective it is, then we can look into the pain reductions as well. Okay, after we have all the PICO, this is the very rough PICO table that we are formulating. You see the question. This is DMARD, which is our infliximab, compared to the conventional methotrexate. Which one is more effective in treating patients with rheumatoid arthritis? Okay, so basically this is how we formulate our PICO. Yeah? If any question, you can just type on the text box itself. Encik Latif or our Tatika boy will try to telling me what the question is. Yeah, Tatika boy. Okay. Okay. Once we have that research question, and once we already identified the PICO, then next we have to choose the relevant database. Okay, this relevant database is especially important for our information specialists here. Because why? They need to know whether what kind of database to look into and how they can work on identifying different databases. Okay, before I introduce this databases concept, let me start from how the database is being formed. Remember, all the articles, all the journals, before we started, we need authors, we need writers, right? Writers is normally including the researchers. The researchers first will do a research, definitely. It's either primary research and it's either a secondary research. When they have the research, they will write up the manuscript. Once they have the manuscript, they will find for the suitable journal to publish their manuscript into, okay? Once their journal is being published, that particular journal will be published by the editors or the publishers company. The publishers company the different type of publishers company will then bring how they are going to market their journal or their articles is they will form together and put it into databases. So this is why we have so many bibliographic databases available at the market. So once you're already familiar with this concept, then you will know in the market currently we have Web of Science, and then Web of Science, just for your info, is by this company Clarivate Analytics. Then we will have Scopus. Scopus is mainly handling the Elsevier's abstract and other databases as well. Okay, the third one is we have Medline. Then we have Medline, which is mainly by the America's National Library, and we have Embase, which cater many of the databases that involve pharmaceuticals or drugs-related journals. Okay, and if you want to go into more specific by bibliographic databases, we have this SinaHealth, which is for nursing. Like if you want to look into the alternative or complementary medicines, we have Mantis. If look into the mental health, we have PsycInfo. All this is actually the databases. As I explained earlier, why we have this kind of different databases is mainly easier for the reviewers or for the authors to look into the articles and the journals. Okay, so hopefully everyone is clear about this concept. Okay, now we have these databases, but how are we going to search these databases? This is why next we have our search platform. So why we subscribe to OVID? Because this OVID is a platform that hosts database. And you might be asking, other than OVID, what kind of platform that we have? Definitely, the famous one is the PubMed. The PubMed is first is free, and then is actually served as a search engine for Medline databases. Means if you want to find the articles from the National Library of Medicine in US, you can actually go to PubMed because it's a government-owned agency. But for OVID is more familiar with us is because we have the training in doing search on this specifically OVID platform, and then this platform will lead us to the articles that we want to search. Okay, this is the example of OVID interface, PubMed interface. Okay, so we are others as well, which is the Cochrane that we are familiar. and then yeah, the Cochrane, and then the HTA databases. If you go to another website, also they have. But the difference between different bibliographic databases is like you have to dig into, especially for the information specialists, you have to dig into how to do a proper search in order to get whatever articles they have inside their databases. This is why search strategy is very important. Okay, so once we have the question, we know about the appropriate database to refer to, then we need to develop our individual search strategy. As I mentioned earlier, every databases have their individual way in creating the search strategy. So, but somehow we will introduce you to different types of a search strategy to be used. Okay, so before we do our search, definitely we need to identify what kind of keyword, because the keyword or the key concept is the main point that you can communicate with the platform or the search engine. It's very simple. Let's say if you search Google, definitely you need to find a keyword, right? Let's say today you want to search for what kind of food that you want to order for this afternoon. Then definitely you go to Google. You will type down. Let's say you want to eat laksa today. Then you want to order from Grab. Then you might go to Google and see review for laksa at Grab, right? So this is all the keyword that you put on it. And this is your main idea. Same thing here, if you are doing search strategy, you need to have this term or this keyword as well. How are you going to identify this term? This is the way, okay? You can get from the colleague or the expert. That's why we got our expert committee, we got our DG member. They are more familiar with the topics there. That's why they can help us or help the information specialists to identify the keywords to be used for the subject, okay? The second one, definitely when you read through the journal, this is specifically for reviewers. If the reviewers is to look into the journal, they will knowing that what kind of keywords being used in that particular topics. Okay, definitely we got our MASH, we got our all the other dictionaries that can help us to identify our search term. Then once we have our search term, then go to the search technique. Okay. Here I introduced 4 kind of techniques while we are doing search, right? We got truncation for the wildcards, we got proximity operators, we got phase searching, and we got Boolean searching. Okay, truncation, you're very familiar. These are the all examples, and one of them that is also the asterisk. Some of the database they are using asterisk as well. Proximity operator, this is where most of you will get very concerned on how are you going to use the proximity operators. In fact, later, this is not just one search strategy talk that I'm holding. Later, we have a series of that. Then we'll go deep into how to use this proximity operator. But the thumb of rule is, let's say you got 2 words that you want to adjust. You use ADJ1. If 3 words, you use ADJ2, etc. This is the very fast rule for you to know first. Later we will practice more on this. Okay. Okay. Yes, we have our Pico, we have our keywords ready. Then, as you know, when we key in our keyword in the Ovid platform, they will identify the match heading for us. Then they will introduce some text word for us. Okay. So phase searching is what we normally do in Google. We want the exact word to be happen. So this is how we do the phase searching. Okay. After introduce you all, this Boolean, normally we will use and or, we seldom use not. Okay. Okay. So this is all the 4 techniques for the search strategy. Once we have that search strategy, we put all the keyword and the truncation, all the techniques inside the platform or the databases, then we will have the result generated for us. So the next is for us to look through is whatever search strategy or whatever keyword we put inside relevant to whatever search result they're coming out, right? So as you know, every researcher or every reviewer, they have their appetite of search results, okay? So when it's too wide, then we need to focus down. If it's too narrow, we need to explore more search. So, but if we are too wide, we want to narrow down what actually we can do. Normally in OWIC, we can consider applying the limits, which is like limit the year of search, type of study, the language of the subject, or the type of report. But normally we will start with each and every one first, because always remember, if you limit too many, then the outcome or the articles that you manage to find will become lesser and lesser. So how to expand? Definitely, if you find that all the articles being found in the result is not fulfilling your needs, you might consider all the other synonyms. This is all the techniques. You might consider all the synonyms, variant in the spelling, especially UK spelling and the US spelling, increase the scope of search. And the other technique is like you look into the articles that's related and look into their reference, and you look into the non-peer review journals, or asking around with your peer, or maybe the university lecturers. Is there any gray literature? Gray area, gray literature is the literature that is being done but haven't published yet. Okay. So this when the reviewer, you got your titles, always remember, refer back to your whatever you have been done earlier. Remember, you already have your research question, you already have your PICO, you already have your inclusion exclusion criteria. That one serves as your guideline to select the relevant of the titles. And the most important work here, that's why I need to make it a capital letter, is because we always remember to yourself, no bias. Not because you select the articles because that articles is written by your supervisor, or the articles is one of your DG member or your expert committee. So just choose your articles according to your inclusion and exclusion criteria. And then for information specialists, once you have that title selected, you can start to ask the reviewers to identify the abstract first, and then to review the abstract first. Okay. Once you have that abstract identified, then if the reviewers really want to get the full article, then only we search for the full articles. Okay. So this is the most happiest moment when information specialists get to see that particular small PDF symbol on it. Means they can just click on it and get the full articles, right? But most of the time, why we are not getting that is because there is different in the subscription of database that we are in. And here we introduce you to one of the subscription, introduce you to whatever we already subscribe. That's why my point here is to let the information specialists and the reviewers to know actually what we are being subscribed. Is it really the articles that we want is not in our subscription? Okay, later, there is one software called MyLoft, MYLOFT. I think most of you already registered MyLoft, but somehow, if you are not, you can approach me or Cizam. We can help you to set up your MyLoft subscription. Okay, so as you can see, this is the database. Not database lah. Database is the I can't say the whole database, is actually the package that we subscribe with the full articles. The main one is LWW Help Library. One of the package we already subscribed. I think got thousands titles in that. I already distribute the list to all the information specialists. If the reviewers are interested, you can ask the information specialist to give you or to guide you to whatever journals or the titles we already subscribe. Okay, and another one is Taylor & Francis. We got a lot of titles there, and not to forget NEJM, right? NEJM is one of the, but definitely got people say NEJM. Many of the articles is actually the open access lah. So this one later we are going to review it up when we decide to renew our subscription for next year. Okay. Once we have that one, then the important thing is to document down everything, because as you know, people will question our search strategy if we get our things published, or even though like CPG, our HTA report, our TR report, they were asking how you get to find the article, how are you going to review the article. So a proper documentation is very important for all of us. Okay, then last but not least, we update the search when necessary. So with that, I end my current presentation.